Ooh, we're running. Okay. Let me... Wait a minute. Got a little bit of looseness there. Alright. I think I got everything I need. Guess what? Today's obscure movie quote of the day is, "We have everything we need. Got some Baileys and a watercolor." A million points to you if you can tell me which movie that's, or which show that's from. Excuse me, it's not a movie. So there, I kind of gave it up just a little bit. But anyway, it's time to hit the road. So, strap yourself in, or seatbelt, or what have you. Crack open your favorite beverage, and be sure to plug in your uncharged cell phone, because, you know, that's generally important. But anyway, oh crap, what is today? I think today's the 23rd, or something like that. Yeah, 23rd. And life seems good at the moment, provided, of course, that you're not paying attention to anything that's going on in the world. But I digress. This is a continuation of Wonderful Wednesday #1, which was actually 2 weeks ago. Trying to get myself in the habit of doing things, but I've just been so sick lately. So maybe you can relate. Actually, I hope that you can. I hope you're doing well. But if you are indeed sick and you appreciate this sort of thing, go clicky on the buttons down below and do stuff, and I'll read it. But anyway, getting on with it. Today I want to talk about single life. Okay. Now, as a divorced man, I can tell you there are some things that I wish had happened differently. But that said, in a way, it was kind of good that it happened the way that it did. I'm not going to get into very many details about how my most I can't speak explain today. There are many reasons, I'm sure, as to why my relationship ended the way that it did, that could have been different. But there are many things that were just intolerable that I could not change. So I start out with a question. Men, this is for you. Where do you draw the line? Where do you just put it in there and go, all right, that's it, I've had enough? You know, you say, throw in the towel, this is it, I'm done with this, right? So that's for the newly single guys that are, you know, just getting out of some kind of relationship. Doesn't matter if it was, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, what have you. Doesn't matter. But what was basically the straw that broke the camel's back for you? Mine was simply a realization that it was going to continue to deteriorate, and that I didn't want to be there for it. It just wasn't getting any better. In fact, it was getting worse. So take that as it is. Now, enough about that subject. Let's cover being single. Ooh, pardon me. I have burpeed. But before I cover being single, I want to go way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, where it gets hotter than a hoochie's coochie. We laid rubber on the Georgia asphalt. I got crazy, but we never Who remembers that song? Guess what? This is that singer's hometown. Or rather, we just left it. And this is the very river that he's talking about. Look at that. It's funny though, even though he is the way that he is and all that kind of jazz, and you know, I think I put the camera in backwards. Anyway, as it turns out, he is not the friendliest man in the world, or at least the last individual that I knew that knew him said that that he was a bit of a prick, but. Don't know, never met him, so I can't speak to that. But what I can say is that I suspect his demeanor or whatever doesn't change depending upon who is in front of him. And that's typical of most men. Most men do not change regardless. They're just like, yeah, this is me, this is my standard operating procedure, and that's the end of it. I don't really care what you think, and that's fine with me. And if you like it, then great. If you don't, then, well, whatever. You know. So, the real question becomes, does that individual's opinion that was created by somebody else, you know, that, oh, hello. Yeah, just hop on in my way. There you go. You didn't see that because you were looking at me, but at the roundabout that I was just in, home fry in a dump truck decided that it was totally okay to cut out in front of me and, you know, make me stop short. But that's fine, you know, it's okay. I don't mind it that much, so long as I don't hit him. Yes, I do mind. He's a fucking asshole. Anyway, get back up to the point. What do we think, gentlemen? Is someone's opinion of you that gets spread around, how much of that is actual, like, logical acting sort of thing that, you know, like, yeah, he was a real douche, or no, he was nice and he was kind, or whatever. How much of that do you figure is actually based on the other person's perception of that individual? I would suspect that it's pretty high, because you think about it like this. This singer, I'm just going to continue to not name him because I want you to guess who it is. Let's say that he's a male singer, he's an icon, he has a wonderful backup band, and, you know, he has a record label, and he sells lots of tickets at concerts, and he has a fantastic fan base, etc., etc., right? He makes lots of money for his record label, and everybody's happy. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are his fans, right? If his fans ever get the chance to really meet him, like really meet him out in public, and then they have this comparison of against what everyone else thinks he is because they remember him on stage and in concert, right? But then you get to meet him in real life, right? Then your opinion can change of him depending upon the way you view him in the situation that he's in, and the way he's behaving in the situation that he is being placed into in the interaction. Now, check out how I said that, because this next one that I'm about to name, you already know him. Don't have to really say anything about it, but, you know, Marshall Mathers, Eminem. In fact, I think I might turn on his music here in a little while. He did a piece, he did a song about, well, actually, I think it was just a lyric in one of his songs. when someone gets really famous, they have trouble interacting in public because everyone that comes up to them is a fan and doesn't perceive them the same way as they would if they were just an average Joe on the street. Like if I were going to a store and I talk to Mr. Patel and say, "Hello, Mr. Patel," and he says, "Hello, how are you?" You know, and he rings up my drink and my bag of chips, and he takes my money, and he and I have a little bit of a rapport, and I say, "Thank you, Mr. Patel," and he says, "Thank you, and that's it, and then that's the end of the interaction, nice, friendly, short, to the point. But then you have these fans, that have been salivating at the bit for so long that when they finally get to this individual, whoever it is that they've been pining after, they can't handle it. They are totally out of it, totally. And by the way, I'm going to put up that term up here somewhere. In fact, you can practice that with me. Ready? So these fans, they find that, and they'll find you in, "Oh, I'm such a big fan, and my brother wants an autograph," and he's like, "Okay, dude, I'm just ordering French fries. Would you like French fries too? I have lots of money. I can buy you some French fries if you'll go away." So I can kind of relate. Well, I can't relate, but I can kind of see it, So it makes one wonder how much of that, attitude comes from the fact that some of these performers, they get famous enough to where they don't get any real downtime unless they're not in the public light at all. Like, for instance, if I'm just going to use let's just say that it's Tay-Tay, all right? Everybody that knows Tay-Tay, right? If she wants to have a normal evening out, she pretty much has to wear camouflage so that her fans don't know it's her. After a while, it makes one wonder, are these sculpted remakes actually intentional so that you'll stop paying attention to them so that they can go and enjoy their riches? I would wager that some of them probably do that. That they go, "You know what? I am way too popular. Someone else needs to take the crown. How do I do that while still selling records?" And then the answer is, well, make yourself butt ugly and annoying. Okay, then I'll do that. And then instantly they go and they have their hair, their nails, their eyes, whatever, they do stuff to make themselves look like they're on, drugs, and do all kinds of, they edit themselves to the point that people don't recognize them anymore. And it's a double-edged sword, But anyway, I'm kind of rambling on that one, because I want to get back to my original point, so I'm going to, which is this. If the original, the one that I was saying, the one that I want you to guess, is being approached by a female rabid fan that pesters him continuously while he's trying to eat dinner at a restaurant with his kids and his family, right? He's eventually going to get tired of it and say, "Look, go away." Right? Why? Because he's human. Doesn't have anything to do with him being a star, doesn't have anything to do with, rich, famous, any of that. It's got to do with the fact that he's a human being. He has something that's in front of him that has been, that is extremely important. And you, even though you're a fan and you think that you've earned it because you bought a ticket in, 1978, you still think that you've earned it, that you can, bug him. "Oh, I finally found you. Here, let me have an autograph, and I'm going to have you, look, I've got your VCR tape that I just made," or whatever. And would you sign that too? Yeah. Here, I'm going to bend over and I want you to sign my crack. It's ridiculous, you know what I mean? So, let's say that let's say that person number one, with opinion number one, is a fan. Alright? Now, let's say that person number two, with opinion number two, thinks that this individual, whoever he is, I'm not going to say that it's me because it's not. I really don't care. I don't care about the dude. But let's say that this other individual, whatever they are, has this second opinion of this performer that you need to guess, and his opinion is, well, I met him once. He was a nice guy. He was, he tipped his hat, and he tipped well, etc., whatever. Now you have the same performer, same individual, same artist, right? Same musical artist. Two different opinions by two different people that are only different because those two people approached him in completely different ways with completely different objectives. Right? So now the question is, how much do you know about the people that you know versus how much do you think you know based on what you have put forth towards the people that you are trying to relate to? Play that back and listen to it again. In fact, play it back as many times as you need to, because I want you to think about that carefully. This is like, I know I'm starting to sound like a college professor. I'm not, but it hits, okay? Think about it from that perspective, because we're all human, okay? So now, into the dating world. Back to the original subject that I was originally going to cover originally. Yes, that. Anyway, trying to make this one short because I don't have a whole lot of time. I am in the company truck. So the question then becomes, the individual that is in front of you when you're out in the world on a date, in public, let's suppose that maybe it isn't a date. Maybe you're in the checkout line at the, the Maple Biscuit restaurant or whatever the fuck, I don't know. I'm just making it up online. You are interacting with someone that you like, right? And their opinion of you is just forming because they've only just met you. Which means that you have to be on the stick. You have to be on it. I mean, on it. Because if you're not, it won't happen. Alright? I experienced this myself. There was someone that I met just out in the world, out in public. She was a very nice lady. Well, not was. She is. Let's put it that way. She is a very nice lady. Okay? Now, no harm, no foul. Alright? But because I was still kind of out of it, because I was freshly divorced, there were things going on that were butting heads. There was the side of me that said, don't ever want to even date again. Don't want anything to do with anybody. Just leave me the hell alone. Because I got that badly damaged in the divorce and the things. Just you know what? Let's skip that part. And then the other half of me was like, she's nice. You should try. You should, go talk to her. You know what I mean? So these two separate, incongruent opinions of how females work and how the world works were butting heads while I was trying to talk to this woman. Okay? And when you're trying to be on your A game, you can't have that. You can't have that. And that's why they tell you, you don't need to go out and shack up again right away, because, you know, your mind's not going to be able to do it. And I can see why, you know, because after a while you do kind of long for it. I didn't at first. I'm not really there yet, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. So take and do that, or take and do with that what you will. There you go. Forgive me as I don't look at you because I'm driving. So, I guess that pretty well takes care of this little talk, lecture, vlog thing that we just did. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you indeed liked this, then obviously show that you liked it by clicking the likey. And do please click subscribe no matter what you do. The reason why I ask is not necessarily because, you know, if you want to subscribe and then it makes the algorithm happy and then, you know, magical butterfly bluebird things happen in the YouTube and then stuff happens. But clicking the subscribe button actually will ensure that you are still subscribed, because I've heard, pray tell, that YouTube is trying to unsubscribe dormant accounts after a certain period of time. Not really sure why they're doing that, but something tells me that it's so that they can keep a maintenance log, you know, so this way advertisers aren't paying money to videos that aren't actually being watched. Do you know what I mean? So they're actually they're modifying it in real time is what I'm basically saying. So if you do liked it, and if you did want, and if you were subscribed, check it again and make sure that you still are. And if you are not subscribed and you'd like to be, by all means go ahead and click the button.